Good afternoon, everyone. This is Abhinav Kaushal from the coup. Last week, we can see in Mali, a democratic elected government was overthrown by the coup d'etat. Amidst the pandemic, where everyone is focusing on the cure of the virus, coronavirus, and on the other hand, we can see in the countries like Lebanon and Belarus, where people are forcing their government to resign. On the other side of the world, in Africa and Mali, there has been the first coup d'etat of this corona period. For this, we have international analyst Maximiliano Sbarbi. How are you, Maximiliano?
Hi, how are you? Thank you for this interview.
So, Max, how it's all started? While the world is struggling in finding the cure for coronavirus, in Mali, some people took advantage of the situation and toppled the government. How it all started, and what are the biggest reason for this coup?
Well, the biggest reason is President Ibrahim Keïta was very unpopular, mainly on this year, 2020. Uh, there was an alleged fraud in the legislative elections, first in March and ballotage in April. There was many street protests against corruption, against the presence of French troops. It were growing during this year. Moreover, the military who fought directly against terrorist groups as al-Qaeda and our Islamic State in northern Mali receive low salaries. There was too many deaths of military against fight of terrorism. Moreover, there was an opposite civilian movement called June 5th in the streets against President Keïta. It was an important civilian opposite political group. Um, their leader was an Islamic leader called Mahmoud Diko, was there the main leader. He was spoke with the Islamist as a mediator in the first month of Keita's government on 2013. Um, there are this is the mainly reasons of the coup.
Yeah, so can we say, do this coup is just an excuse for fueling the separatist movement in northern Mali? And also, can we say the main handler of this coup is not from inside the country, but someone from across the Malian border?
Um, it is not fooled the Islamists. It is the opposite because military will be continuing fighting against Islamists. France did not promote the coup, but it makes sure that Paris has a friendly new government, military government, which respect the presence of French soldiers and also fight against Islamists too. France made an alliance with military after the coup, not before. Only Algeria was the only country who support new government because Algeria fears that the Islamists cross the south border from northern Mali to Algeria. This country have a bad experience with Islamist groups on 90s decade. Moreover, ECOWAS, the economic country of Western Africa, has blocked the transactions with Mali and the borders against this new military government. But now they are negotiation an exit with a civilian or retired military as head of government for only 1 year. We must wait what will happen with these negotiations.
So, do you think, despite having the presence of elite armies from the Europe, some superpowers such as Germany has their bases, France has their base, military base. So why the issue of security still persists in this country?
First, Saudi Arabia and all Arab kingdoms promote terrorism in Sahel countries. Sahel countries is this part of Sahara territory of Africa. European Union have 600 soldiers in Mali, and France have 5,000 soldiers. France and Europe want to maintain the area of influence against the commercial, economic, and political advance of China. The first concern of France is not the fight with al-Qaeda or ISIS. The first concern for France is the advance of China.
Yeah. So, so France has been successful in stopping the advance of China in this region.
Yes, yes. France wants to keep this area of influence of ex-colonies as Mali, Niger, Senegal, because this is a rich area of gold and uranium, who reach the power plants of France. 70% of power plants of France are supplied by nuclear electricity.
So after this coup d'etat, what are the reactions of people? Are they liking it, or it's just like uh, it's very common for them?
Common people, are you mean?
Yeah, yeah, the common people. Yes.
Um, the common people of Mali knows military will be continuing fight against terrorism. They are hopeful for their future and their living condition will improve. But they are accepting the presence of the French troops. They can't fight against this. But they are glad because they conquered the mainly target, as it is the resign of President Keïta.
So President Keita was the actually the enemy of the people.
Yes, Keita does not want to return to politics. Uh, there is no turning back about this. France and Algeria have already made agreements with the new government, and people are accepting this new situation. ECOWAS countries, the economic countries of Western Africa, are accepting this situation too. They have fear that new coups becoming in their countries, as Senegal, Niger, Burkina Faso. But all countries are and common people are accepting this new government because they will be continue fighting against al-Qaeda and Islamic State in Mali.
Yeah. Now, moving on to the reactions of the world, we have seen the 15 nations from the African Union has put the sanction on this country. And what about the rest of the African nations and the world? Basically, the reaction from the US and the China, the main superpowers. What are the reactions of the world right now?
Well, about other African countries, the African Union has blocked economic transactions to Mali and borders, as I say to you. But I think it will be reduced for the influence of France. France wants to peaceful the Mali and the relationships of Africa with Mali. The new government will be in peace with rest of African countries. About China, well, China don't cares if there was a coup or not. China wants to negotiate with all countries. And United States, there are no much influence there. I know a new head of new government was trained, military trained in United States, but I don't know if USA is behind this coup. I don't think so.
So, what will be your closing statement of this whole situation in Mali?
Well, African countries will be uh, arrive to a good treatment with new government, because France wants a friendly government to keep its influence against the struggle with Islamic groups and the advance of China. Then ECOWAS country wants it too. Then pressures and blocked with against this new government will be reduced, because they are not turning back for this coup, and this military government wants to keep the agreement with French troops and a commercial relationships with its neighbors. Then I think it will be more calm than this year, in which there was many street protests.
So, thank you so much, Maximiliano, for your words, for your time. It's a great pleasure to interview you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for this interview.